You heard of Spencer and Jeremy Student Assistant Scholarship? Or do you know someone who's a student assistant? Well, if yes, you must have heard this kind of conversation. Tara, ito tayo. Next time na lang, may duty pa ako eh. Or have you seen a tweet like this? Wala na akong pasok, pero may duty pa rin ako. These are just one of the things that student assistants experience. Being a student assistant is never an easy task. Studying while working is a very tough job to do. But why do students still apply? Are there advantages and disadvantages? How can they survive it? Well, let me just bring it to my world. Student assistant world.
The San Lorenzo Ruiz Student Assistant Scholarship Program allows you to study for free in exchange of a minimum of 20 hours of work duty at a certain department or college within the UST campus with the required maintaining grade.
That's why students choose to become student assistants. Financial problem is the number one reason because most of the students want to study in a prestigious school, but their families lack the money to support their education. Another is they do not want to be a burden to their family, so they do this. A perfect example of this reason is myself. I have decided to study in USC despite of our financial problems. I made a deal with my parents that I will apply for a scholarship just to study in USC and also to prove them that I can help our family by not being a burden to them. Another reason is to experience the feeling of self-fulfillment. Just imagine yourself finishing college without spending money for your tuition fee and graduating despite the busy schedule. For me, it is a self-fulfillment. Please to gain or experience independence. Since you will experience working in an office, you will realize that you need to depend on your ability and skills to survive every day. You can also develop your public relations skills and at the same time build connections with other people during your duty hours. Like for me, I deal with professors, doctors, employees, and medicine students. Another big advantage of being a student assistant is when you graduate, it is an addition to your credentials and it serves as a good work experience when applying for a job. Self-motivation is another benefit because you will strive more to do your best in your academic performance for the reason that your scholarship might be got in just a snap. Going home? Not yet. I still have duty. It's a conversation that has been part of my life since I became a student assistant. Being in school for almost 12 hours a day is really tiring. I have 7 to 12 p.m. of class, and from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. duty hours, then I still have to travel for 2 hours going home. Although we are given the privilege of choosing our duty hours, we still need to fill up the 20 hours per week. And the stress from schoolwork does not make things easier. Now, the question is, how can we survive this kind of lifestyle? Here are some tips to survive as a student assistant. For time management, learn to allocate time and avoid procrastination. Stress management, have an alternative way of handling your stress. Instead of absorbing all the stress at school and at work, and talking about it, try to handle it one by one, and don't be too great conscious. Importantly, you should follow the terms and conditions in the contract. And of course, don't forget, always remember to pray.
To sum it all up, I hope that the tips that were given were helpful to you although you are not a student assistant, since those tips are applicable to all kinds of students. Also, now that you know about the reasons behind the students choosing to be a student assistant and the advantages and disadvantages, I hope that you would understand our situation and support us in conquering this long journey.